Hello all. I'm sure you must have been really excited when you received your Hacker Arsenal package with your WiNX or WiNX portable in it. In this video, we are going to look at how to get started with these devices on Windows. So of course, step one, we are going to unbox this really beautiful looking box. Go ahead, take out the device. And we can use this device with any micro USB cable. So I'm going to connect the micro USB cable. Now let me shift over to my Windows terminal. I'm going to go ahead, connect this to my USB port. Okay. Now, the WiNX and the WiNX portable is pre-flashed with a very simple Wi-Fi scanning firmware. Now, what that firmware does is it scans the air and gives you a list of BSSIDs, SSIDs, channels, signal strength, and the kind of network, right, with the encryption. So, the first thing you need to ensure is once you connect your device, let's make sure that the device has been detected. So I'm going to go ahead, open up the hardware manager. So you can search for the device manager. And open it up. And what you'll see is that under ports where it says COM and LPT, if you expand that, you should be able to see a COM port in there, and that should actually say Silicon Labs CP210X USB to UART bridge. Of course, the text might vary depending on the version of Windows. Really, it's the version of the driver. But keep in mind that it should roughly say something similar. Now, if this is the case, the good news is that you already have all the drivers installed and Windows has detected the device and is using that driver to use with the device. Now, in case that you do not see anything or you see an unrecognized device in there, in your WiNX user manual, which can be downloaded from hackerarsenal.com, it's on the same page as WiNX or WiNX portable, down at the bottom where it says getting started with WiNX. You should be able to find the manual, and if you scroll down and we go to the Mac section, you should find a driver download link. Now, if you open this link up, you should go to the Silicon Labs homepage, or rather one of their web pages, and you can download the driver from one of these options depending on which OS you're using. Now for Windows 10, which is what I'm using, I've downloaded and installed the download VCP driver, right? The first one. Now keep in mind what I've found is on most Windows operating systems, it should auto detect and install the driver. But if it doesn't, make sure you download and install this driver. This is required for us to talk to the WiNX or the WiNX portable. Okay, assuming you've downloaded and extracted the driver, here it is. Depending on if you're on a 64-bit or a 32-bit Windows, you can install the appropriate version. I'm going to do that just so we go through the entire process. There we go. And that's all is required. Now, in the user manual, which we have given, we've talked about using different serial port monitoring programs which you can use. The one for Windows, which is listed here, is PuTTY. The one for Linux is PuTTY as well. And for Mac is basically a tool called Miniterm. Now in this video, what I'm going to do is, rather than use any of these tools, which of course you can try, I'm going to use the Arduino IDE. Now why? because the Arduino IDE is available for all platforms and it's much more easier to kind of use. Again, it just depends on what tool you like. A lot of people love Putty, swear by it, but I personally prefer the Arduino IDE. So let's actually go ahead and download and install the Arduino IDE. So you can head out to arduino.cc, go to software, and you should be able to see or download the Arduino IDE. Now I've downloaded and installed 1.8.3 as of making this video. However, I think versions which are newer than this should also be okay. And actually even a couple of versions older than this should be okay. All we are going to do is use the serial monitor program available with the IDE. It's much more easier to work with. Now you can install the Windows installer one or the zip file for non-admin install. I've done the Windows zip file for non-admin install, and I've extracted the zip file into a directory. Here it is. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and run the Arduino IDE. So the Arduino IDE, of course, can be used for a lot of purposes. Our only purpose is going to be for the serial monitor. Again, you can use any of the tools in the Getting Started guide. I prefer this because the steps are pretty much the same no matter which operating system you're using. Okay, so the Arduino IDE opens up. I'm going to click Tools. Make sure that the port selects the COM port which the hardware manager told you for the device. So if you notice COM5, so we click on Tools, we go to Port, make sure it's set to COM5. Now, the board and all of these options don't really matter because we aren't uploading anything, we aren't uploading any sketches or anything else using the IDE. All that matters is selecting the right port. So COM5 is the port. My WiNX is connected. Again, the exact same process if you had a portable, right? No difference. Make no mistake about it. It's identical. Now click on Serial Monitor. And this should open up the Serial Monitor program. Now what you have to do is make sure that the baud rate is actually selected over here to 1 million. So the default firmware which is running is actually running at a very high baud rate, and the 1 million option is good enough for it to run. For it to be synced with the serial monitor and be displayed. That's really all we have to do. In case you don't see anything, go ahead. You will find a button at the bottom on the WiNX and a button on the very front of the WiNX portable, which is labeled EN. Press that button for a brief second and then release it. This should restart the device and it should once again automatically start scanning and showing you results, right? This is going to be the same identical process for other operating systems as well. Linux-based OSs like Ubuntu or Kali already have the CP2102 driver in them, so you could pretty much just install the Arduino IDE and get started. As far as OS X is concerned, you will have to go ahead and install the driver for OS X, which is available on the same page. There we go. And after that, you should once again be able to use the Arduino IDE exactly in the way we demoed in this video. Okay. So that's all I had in mind in this getting started video. As far as troubleshooting is concerned, in case you do not see any output even after you do this, we'll discuss that in the next video where we'll show you how to connect to the WiNX and upload firmware on it. And that will contain all the troubleshooting parts as well. So that's all I had in mind for this video. Thank you.